yeah, it's not fair. And I think people, yes, when I say lack of security, I mean lack. You can never have enough security. So you would have to have way more because people are acting in the way like when you're doing security, you're not thinking people are gonna come and intentionally stampede and try and rush the fence. And even so, you won't think it's gonna be thousands of people doing it. So it's an unfair situation because a reasonable person would just say, I ain't got a ticket, I'm going home. But when you've got enough people together that come to an event that have FOMO, sometimes unless you've over prepared, you've got contingencies on contingencies, you've got super strong fencing and stuff like that. It's not the security measures won't be able to keep up because you've got thousands of people. There's no way thousands of people, like with the Astro World thing as well, the concert when that happened, the medical personnel couldn't even get through to the people that needed help because the sheer amount of people, you just couldn't, no matter how many people you had, you couldn't move through that amount of people. And this is a sad situation. And I think, I don't know, something needs to be looked at that part as well. But in reality, it's the people turning up. People should just turn up and be reasonable. If you can't get in, you can't get in. Go home. It's not the end of the world. It's not the last rave there will ever be. So, and I think, with security measures, I don't know if it needs to be reviewed. But realistically speaking, how can you? Because if people are going to start doing the whole animalistic, let's be a stampede and whatever, you can prepare better than certain situations, but if enough people turn up, it's going to be an issue. Unless you're going to have like super reinforced exits and entrances and stuff like that. So if you rush the doors at an event, you do a craziness at an event and a stampede happens, people can die. You can literally be crushed. So asphyxiation, where you can be crushed, cardiac arrest, people trampling on you, the sheer weight of people might have, PTSD or something else, fight or flight, the sheer amount of human beings as well. I think I was seeing something where it said like, if you've got more than 4 or 5 people per meter in a crowd, like it's very easy for you to be wiped away, like to not have control, because by the time you have that much people in close proximity to each other, there's nothing you can do. And with stampedes, as well, they start off harmless and then it can change quickly. And also as well, people don't even know how to even deal with that situation because a lot of people never think about that. You don't think a stampede is going to happen at an event. You never think about that. But it can. And it can happen quickly. And most of us are not prepared for even, what can happen, So that's why sometimes I say, like, if you're going to big places as well, like, as much as, try and be aware a bit of the surroundings, looking at what's going on. And crowd control. Like, you see situations like where people make jokes about carnival, where you go carnival and they can get lost forever. You might not see your friends. If you lose your friend in carnival, that's it. You might only see them when you're coming home because crowd control, having to navigate a crowd, looking where to go, and it's crazy. So even me, when I was like googling around and looking at what should you actually do in the event that something crazy happens like a stampede, and of course you got the staying calm, because with a stampede, the second people kind of sense danger or something's happening, everyone's fight or flight kicks in. So you get people moving before they even know what's going on. It's like the thing where if like you can see someone running, like let's say you always see it all the time where they do pranks where 2 or 3 people running, and then before you know it, a lot of people are running. And everyone's running. Don't know why they're running, but they're running because someone else is running, meaning there must be danger, that's why you're running. And it could be someone just going for a jog. So this is human behavior, and humans, when danger happens or when there's a little bit of danger about, people then, if you don't stay calm, degenerate into craziness. Of course, stampedes, staying on your feet as well. If you drop, it's not good, because once you drop, people can step on you and it could be crazy as well. And I remember like when I was like looking into all these things, and they were even saying like, if you fall down, let's say you do fall down, you have to fall down and like protect your chest, because they were saying like that's where the cardiac arrest, asphyxiation happens. Because if you fall up, you don't manage to stay on your feet, you fall, you hit the ground, people will step on you, and people can, your chest. So it's kind of like you've got to be like a boxer and protect your chest. I think they say as well, you also have to kind of go into a fetal position as well to kind of really try and protect your head, your chest and all that as well. And then even like moving diagonally as well. So when things are happening, you have to move diagonally. So instead of, let's say you're in a crowd, a big crowd, you're trying to navigate, you have to move diagonally. Don't try and like cut across horizontally and stuff like that. And yeah, and I think one of the biggest things as well they said is move with the crowd, don't go against it. So if you're ever in a position where there's a stampede or whatever, or people are really, you have to try and move with the direction of the crowd. It's like in the ocean. If you go in the ocean and you try and swim against the current, you're going to tire yourself out, especially in a stampede as well. You try and go against it, the chances of falling becomes more, because if the crowd is going one way, you're pushing against it, the likelihood is you're going to trip, fall, and then it's a mad situation. So yeah, I just think looking at it, it's crazy, like, because people now have to start doing threat assessment, and it's like now we got to start doing like safety precautions when going to events with lots of people, where now you got to kind of look at your surroundings. If you're caught in a crowd that could turn into a stampede, kind of find higher ground, or try and avoid barriers or narrow pathways and stuff like that. So I think it's actually mad that we have to start thinking about this in terms of events, because events should be a time to just go and enjoy yourself. But I think social media, people not having experience in what they do, like going out, people maybe just being, not having shame, like, I think we need to call things out. Like, for instance, these, the originals thing that happened and whatever. I think people now have to be called out, and as mad as it sounds, like, yeah, some repercussions have to be happening, because you can't be going and causing situations that could potentially like lead to people being killed and stuff, and then everyone just thinks it's calm. Because end of the day, with these events that with events that tragedies at events that have happened, we see that somebody stepped on, these people that have died at events, somebody stepped, injured them, someone stepped on them, the crowd, somebody in that crowd knowingly or unknowingly stepped on these, people, whatever, and a craziness has happened. But you will never see, like, with any, like, no one will ever be able to say, this person did this. The only people that always get the blame are the event planners or the people that did the event. We never shame and talk about the people that you shouldn't have even been there. You didn't have a ticket. You're supposed to be at home. Like, it's not going anywhere. But I don't know, like, people just want to barge in for no reason. Like, even I think with events as well, we got to do I don't know how we solve it. For me, I think if you're going to try and solve it, the little suggestions I would have is, first off, no ticket, no entry. Although, some people buy tickets and it's a weird situation, because some people will buy tickets for an event, but they don't come. So with events, you might have a drop-off rate. So you might sell tickets, it might be sold out. Let's say you sell out 800 capacity. 800 people might not come. Some people will drop out. There might be a good 50, 60, 80, 100 people that have bought a ticket that for some reason on the day they could be bothered to come. They don't come. They're going to now try and claim a refund. So, of course, you still have to have some tickets on the door or ability on the door to say, okay, the capacity is not reached. You're an event planner. You're trying to make your money. We're going to let more people in. But at the same time, I think there's got to be like more, no ticket, no entry. I think balancing the marketing as well, I think for certain events. So where the media hype is getting a lot, I think is, kind of balancing it. Like, so yes. Hello. Yeah. What's up? So yeah, how do we reduce, people without tickets going to events? Shame them, call them out for it. I think, yeah, people have to start calling them out, shaming them. There has to be repercussions as well. There has to be repercussions. So maybe, people start doing time for, if they're rushing the gates or doing some crazy stuff. And another part people don't realize is people rushing the door, you don't know what they've got on them, because they wouldn't have been checked by security and stuff like that. So it is a big safety concern as well. So yeah, shaming the people. No ticket, no entry. So if you don't have ticket, no entry, or I don't know, stuff like that. I think also as well, maybe having like accounts or, you know, memberships kind of thing, you know, where you're not just buying a ticket, where you have your profile for your ticket. So if you are doing some craziness at an event, it's easy for them to say, okay, you've done this, you can't come back. Like, we've got, you know who you are. You know, there's things like that you can do. Of course, it takes way more planning, way more money, way more resources from the event planner, who is just trying to put on a good event, have a good time, and then people want to come and then basically destroy people's brands, people's events and stuff, because you just didn't plan. You didn't come on time. You didn't buy a ticket. You don't really want to be here. You just want to come and you just want to be a part of the people going to the event. You just want to be a part of it. You want your social media, I was there. You know, there's that. Balancing the marketing. So, you know, maybe, you know, having certain things where this is only for people that came. So, you know, maybe that way it stops it from being so overly demanded, having so much more demand than supply of tickets. Botting as well. I think actually investing in anti-botting stuff as well, especially for bigger events. You know, we're talking where there's thousands of people. I 100% believe that's a big thing, because if you can get rid of that, and it is a thing, it is a known thing, it happens. It's the same thing like where, you know, you've got botting with Spotify streams and stuff like that. It's a known thing. So I think if people do that, if people get rid of bots and have measures that get rid of them or don't allow people to do that for very big events, very big festivals, I think what that does, it gives people, the organic people that maybe want to just go and have a good time, the ability to have a ticket to go. And it allows, you know, people to genuinely get tickets. So you don't end up with situations where an event is happening and you've got people on social media, like 20,000 people on social media, basically saying, oh my gosh, I couldn't get a ticket. And then, or people on social media selling 30 tickets on the day of the event. And you're like, you've obviously botted it, didn't make the money in time, and now you're trying to get it off to break even. So I think there's that. So yeah, I think there's that. I think as well, security measures. So I think people planning, like really real crowd control. I think maybe there's got to be something put in place where people have a set way or set structure. So let's say you go to a venue and do an event. Maybe there needs to be more of this is the crowd control that is for this event. This is the most efficient crowd control. So that will stop people from migrating too much in one place and will disperse or diffuse crowd build up. Because I think that's a big one as well. Because sometimes you can have the same venue, but different event person, and how they've structured it could be different. They might have maybe less exits and entrances that can cause a bottleneck. So it's stuff like that where now I think, yeah, there's got to be something done with that to kind of stop that. Maybe, you know, better barriers, you know, security as well, better security maybe. Also as well, maybe events as well, maybe having events in kind of, yeah. So I think that's one. And then, yeah, I also think as well, yeah, it's having that security, I think that deterrent as well. Where if you're gonna come here, like, do you know what's funny? I guarantee you, it sounds crazy and it's probably difficult to do and whatever, but I guarantee you, in certain events, if you had like police right there or like guard dogs right there, where it's like, yo, like it's long, people would be probably less likely to do what they're doing. So I think that's one thing. But I think, yeah, the effect that all these stampedes, you know, people just, you know, kind of not following the rules and, you know, just calming down when they're going to events. You know what's going to happen? Eventually, events will just get, you know, cancelled. Events will start to get cancelled. People won't be able to socialize as much. Ticket prices will get more expensive. even that's another thing. I think that it sounds crazy, but that also might help with the the stampede kind of thing, because where events stop being as attainable. So one thing I've realized now is people always want to be able to like, let me put it this way: you've never seen people try to stampede and get into the Met Gala. You've never seen it. The reason why is because it's for the elite of the elite. Tickets are super expensive. They have got the security for that locked all the way down. You've got really, celebrities, important people there. I think with some events, maybe the quality is going to have to be more than quantity sometimes, because if you have more quality, let's say, for instance, you have an event where the tickets they are priced like in a way where it's like, these tickets, you can't bought them. They are more expensive, but this is for people that really want to come to this event. This is for a certain type, clientele of people that want to have a good time, that are not on any badness. Then you get a better event, because what will happen is you'll get more people, like an event where there's lots of good people. Like there's some events I go to, some brunches and stuff I went to, where I've been probably like 4 or 5 times now, and this one, the tickets are a bit more pricey, but one thing I've noticed is that everyone's on a good vibe. It's an Afrobeats event. Everyone's going to enjoy Afrobeats. There's no problem. There's no issues. I don't think I've ever seen an issue, because it's a good time. People are there for a good time. People come, they spend their money. They know what they're getting. This is the vibe we're on. It's calm, it's enjoyment. There's saxophone, there's MC, there's all of that. And it's priced appropriately, and very rarely you don't, because it's priced appropriately. There's a good community, and there's a barrier to entry, so it's not just anyone would, because if you're not feeling the event, you're not going to spend money to go there. And because it's usually, these things are usually in outside, during summertime, outside places, all of that kind of stuff, and the venues are always kind of quite good as well in terms of how it's laid out. It's always a good time. And I think maybe that's going to have to be what happens, is quality over quantity, where some events may only be for a certain few, like that A, can afford the ticket, or B, even part of the community, part of the mailing list. Maybe that's got to be a thing where it's like, now we're having a mailing list for a select people. We don't need 40,000 people. We just need maybe a 1,000 or 8,000 good people that want to come and enjoy themselves, that behave properly. So I don't know if there's some sort of, customer lists or, profiles, something like that, where you can start to kind of have a bit more control or barriers of entry, so that not just anyone can just come to an event. Because the problem is, when you are accessible to everyone, the likelihood is there's going to be some people that aren't really the target audience, they're not really there for the event, really. They're just there to look the part and to do whatever they want to do. So I think, in some cases, that's ways people need to kind of look at it. So for me, I just say, people, if you're going out, plan your night. If you haven't got a ticket, stay at home. If you have got a ticket, get there on time. If it says no entry after 9, realistically, you should be getting there 7. 2 hours before your ticket says you can't go in. I'll tell you why. Because if you get there and there's a long queue, by the time the processing of getting the people in is done, you might miss the time to get in. So it's better. It's easier now. You plan it better, because so many times when I've gone out, I've always seen it where you see someone kicking up a fuss, where they're saying, oh, but I was in the queue. And it's like, yeah, but it says 9 o'clock. You was in the queue at 8:50. 8:55, you were joining the queue. Why did you think you were going to get in? You weren't. Even if technically you were in the queue, it's just, there's stuff like that. So I think people do this thing, the entitlement, where they want to get late. Some people do this, they want to be late, they want to all of that. No, get there on time, take it in, enjoy the night, and be part of the people that is, when it's good, the night's good and everyone is jumping, you're part of the crowd that's enjoying the thing. So yeah, that's just my 2 pence on the situation. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and if there's anything you think you want to hear my opinion on, or you want me to talk about, just say in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next one.